Part 15. Super God System becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shuxiang ZK. Chapter 141. I still have a good impression of Tang Chao Chuwei. Firstly, he is his roommate, and secondly, he can be regarded as my friend since he came to this era. Brother Chu, I know that I, Tang Chao, have no abilities, but from now on, as long as you, Brother Chu, say a word, I, Tang Chao, will do it for you through fire and water, Tang Chao said with a serious look in his eyes. Chu Wei smiled slightly. It's okay, let's go eat. Okay, I'll take you to another place to eat. You must celebrate today. The two of them had a meal elsewhere before returning to the hotel. Back at the hotel, Chu Wei immediately entered the 9-story extreme tower in the system's dream space. This tower can be opened to Chu Wei for 2 hours every day. Chu Wei didn't want to let go of every opportunity to become stronger. When he came to this NATO city, Chu Wei had already secretly inquired about it. The strongest person here was a master of the Great Awakening realm. Chu Wei is now in the realm of superpowers, so he has a certain degree of confidence in dealing with people in the realm of awakened beings. But Chu Wei, who is in the realm of the Great Awakener, basically has no chance of winning unless he uses his own detonating talisman. The detonating talisman can be said to be Chu Wei's strongest means at present. Even the ultimate awakened person may be killed, but Chu Wei will not use this thing until the critical moment. Come to the 9-story extreme tower again. Chu Wei had already passed the first level, so he entered the second level directly this time. Although the entrance door on the second floor is smaller than the one on the first floor, it is still exaggeratedly large, tens of thousands of meters wide. Boom, with a sound, the entrance to the second floor door opened, which was directly above the first floor door. Entering the second floor seems to be similar to the first floor, with rooms one after another. It's just that this time the room has some flower and plant patterns carved and painted everywhere, just like entering a forest-themed restaurant. Chu Wei opened the door to one of the rooms. When the door opened, there was a big tree monster with a human face inside. When it saw Chu Wei, its branches were like arms and came directly towards Chu Wei, trying to catch Chu Wei and eat him. Chu Wei didn't panic at all. Although the speed of this big tree monster was not weak, it should still be at the level of spiritual energy level 9. Chu Wei summoned a bolt of lightning with his right hand and struck directly on the body of the big tree monster, killing it with a boom. People in the realm of superpowers can almost crush opponents with level 9 spiritual energy, unless the opponent is a monster like Chu Wei. Ding! The host kills the tree monster and is rewarded with an agility attribute value of 1 point. The current agility attribute value is 62 points. The attack speed is 33 times per second. My strength-specific skills and physical strength-specific skills have been released. It seems that the next one will be my agility-specific skills. Chu Wei already felt that he was about to obtain another exclusive skill. Without staying in this room too long, Chu Wei came to another room. There is only one big stone in this room and nothing else. Chu Wei was a little confused. Are there no monsters in this room? Just when Chu Wei was confused, the big rocks in front of him that were as tall as a few people suddenly grew strong hands and feet like stones, and attacked Chu Wei directly. This stone monster has no eyes, but there is a huge mouth in the center of the stone, enough to swallow a cow in one bite. So you are the monster in this room. Chu Wei looked at the stone monster coming towards him, pulled back his fist, and then punched it out hard. Super God System becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shuxiang ZK. Chapter 142. Boom, with a sound, the several-meter-high stone monster was smashed into pieces by Chu Wei, and turned into countless small stones scattered in the room. Chu Wei just used his physical strength to deal with this stone monster. After all, his physical strength of 30,000 kilograms is definitely not something that this stone monster with a spiritual energy level of 9 can contend with. Ding. The host killed the stone monster, and the strength attribute value was rewarded with 2 points. The current strength attribute value is 122. Continue. After leaving this room, Chu Wei skillfully opened another room. Ding. The host killed a group of tree monsters, and the agility attribute value was rewarded with 10 points. The current agility attribute value is 72 points. Chu Wei, who opened the room, used a big fire to flatten a group of tree monsters in an instant. Chu Wei soon came to another room. He also casually swung a big fire and burned a group of monsters like carnivorous plants into ashes. Ding. Reward the host with 500,000 spiritual energy value, and the current spiritual energy value is 700,000/8 million. After that, Chu Wei used the fire ability to directly clear the monsters in each room he opened. Although the monsters on the second floor are more advanced than those on the first floor, no monster can withstand Chu Wei's attack. Killing monsters in one room after another, Chu Wei only felt that the spiritual energy in his body was becoming more and more abundant, because he was quickly gaining spiritual energy by killing monsters. Flame. 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 Every time Chu Wei fired a flame, the system prompt would sound in his mind, telling Chu Wei what he had gained this time. Unknowingly, Chu Wei had opened the door of the second floor about 100 times. And Chu Wei's character panel had a significant improvement compared to when he came in before. System, report my latest character panel. Chu Wei sat down in the 100th room. Although the fire ability was his least spiritual energy consuming attack method, after 100 consecutive times, Chu Wei still wanted to take a break. And the most important thing is to see your own achievements. Ding. The host's latest character panel is as follows. Strength, 130 points, the attack power that can be caused is 13,000 Jin. Physical strength, 110 points, can form a defense against attacks below 11,000 Jin. Agility, 80 points, 40 attacks per second. Note, when the agility value reaches 100 points, the agility attribute value exclusive skill will be opened. Spirit, 10 points. Can clearly feel all movements within 10 meters. Wisdom, 15 points. Note, the host can consume wisdom points to obtain various professional knowledge on his own, and can also use wisdom points to ask questions to the system. Aura value, 2.5 million/8 million. Current ability level 1 realm. Main attribute points, 1 point. Only 11/100 points left for the next system version upgrade. Host abilities, red lightning, fire, dark water. Host physique, half dragon. Host skills, spiritual finger gun, absorbing forbidden hand. Host exclusive skills, arm of strength. Blue skin. Host equipment, slashing knife, iron and steel armor. Host consumables, chi and blood pill, fire phoenix blood pill, blood recovery pill, 1 self-destruct rune. Host occupation, 2nd level refiner, 1st level array master. Sure enough. Chu Wei smiled at his attribute panel. When his agility attribute value reached 80 points, there was finally a prompt that he would get an exclusive skill at 100 points. Only 20 points away from getting another exclusive skill. Chu Wei smiled happily. By the way, the spiritual energy value is 2.5 million again. I will upgrade again if I get a few million more. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiangzike. Chapter 143. Chu Wei had already obtained more than 2 million spiritual energy points on this second level just now. The speed at which he obtained spiritual energy values was terrifying. You must know that the students who came to participate in the competition with him would happily smile like fools if their spiritual energy value increased by several thousand through practicing every day. If they knew that Chu Wei had gained 2 million spiritual energy points in a short time, they would probably be petrified on the spot. Comparing my own cultivation advancement speed with theirs, I'm really cheating. Chu Wei sighed. I finally understand why so many people like to cheat when playing chicken games, because cheating feels really good. Just when Chu Wei was secretly pleased with the speed at which he obtained spiritual energy, the largest room in the middle of the second floor suddenly exploded, and a big tree monster as high as 100 stories high emerged from the explosion. Appear in the room. It is definitely a giant, and each branch is like a tentacle dozens of meters long. Under its feet are python-like roots, which are its roots and the feet it uses to move. I saw its roots moving like a grey python attacking Chu Wei. Ding! Found the boss on the second floor, the 1,000-story giant tree. Chu Wei smiled, stood up and looked at the huge tree monster like a building, and said softly, "This boss, I hope you have some gaming experience." As the giant tree moved over, hundreds of roots crushed the rooms in front of it, and at the same time, a layer of black lightning began to surround the branches on its tree. Thunder! Bang! The sound was endless. This giant tree monster looks so powerful. Looking at the opponent's momentum and the shattered rooms that were constantly being crushed by it, Chu Wei frowned slightly, because this giant tree should be a level 9 monster in the realm of superpowers. The black lightning on its body is its superpower. If a person in the realm of ordinary superpowers sees such a monster, they will definitely have no choice but to run for their lives. It seems I need to use some means to get rid of you. Chu Wei moved his hand and took out the second-level weapon Zhan Dao. For such a big tree, even if it is cut down as waste wood, it will still be a huge contributor. Then Chu Wei pressed the bracelet on his hand again, and the steelwood armor directly covered Chu Wei's body. With so many roots of this giant tree, it was very likely that he would be hit by it. After all, the level of the giant tree is 8 small realms higher than Chu Wei, and only 1 small realm lower than the Awakener realm Li Long that Chu Wei killed. So Chu Wei didn't overdo it. After getting everything ready, Chu Wei swung his chopping knife and dragged the nearly 2-meter-long chopping knife diagonally to his side. The tip of the chopping knife was directly attached to the ground. Kill! Chu Wei shouted, dragging his chopper and rushed over. The tip of the chopper directly wiped a long spark on the ground as Chu Wei sprinted. Before Chu Wei could rush in front of the giant tree, the black lightning surrounding the giant tree struck directly at Chu Wei with crack. Crack! Chu Wei moved his left hand, and the red lightning whipped out like a whip, colliding with the black lightning. 2 types of lightning collided in the air, exploding into a layer of smoking sparks. Then the black lightning succeeded, and the red lightning disappeared, and then moved towards Chu Wei. Super God System becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shuxiang ZK. Chapter 144. There are 2 brushes. Chu Wei said that his red lightning was defeated by the opponent's black lightning. Seeing the black lightning coming towards him, Chu Wei moved the sword in his right hand and slashed forward, and slashed out with the sword energy. The sword energy directly cut through the lightning, and its power remained unabated, cutting down a branch dozens of meters long from the giant tree opposite. With a sound of boom, the dozens of meters long branches fell to the ground like waste wood. The tree monster is in pain, and cutting off its branches is like cutting off its arms. I'm going to strangle you, you annoying little brat. The tree monster made a hoarse sound, and at the same time, a dozen arm-like branches were tied directly to Chu Wei. Chu Wei didn't find it strange that the tree monster could talk. After all, mutant beasts in reality could also talk. The monsters here were only stronger than the mutant beasts in reality, so it was normal for them to be able to talk. But Chu Wei felt that the tree monster was speaking a little arrogantly. Strangle me? I'm afraid you're overthinking it. Look at me cutting off all your arms like useless materials. Chu Wei jumped up and rushed into the branches that bound him. He waved the chopper in his hand left and right. He was so fast that he could only see the shadows of the knife passing through the branches. Click. Click. Neat wounds appeared on the branches, and a dozen arm-like branches separated from the wounds and fell from the air towards the ground. Boom. 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 The ground felt like being hit by huge rocks, making a very dull sound. Each of these branches is very hard, and it was only because they were unable to match the sharpness of the chopping knife that Chu Wei cut them off. However, in fact, they weighed more than ordinary stones. That's why it makes this dull sound. Kid, you cut off so many of my beloved arms, I'm going to kill you. The giant tree monster roared, and its building-like body shook. Countless grey tree roots attacked like countless pythons to devour Chu Wei. It's time to end it? Chu Wei smiled, and his body burned with flames. At the same time, the flames were surrounded by red lightning. Even the chopping knife was surrounded by flames and red lightning. It looks majestic. Chu Wei moved his steps and his whole body rushed directly into the python-like roots of the big tree. Touch. 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 All the tree roots that Chu Wei hit were cut off by Chu Wei, just like the pythons cut off by Chu Wei. Chu Wei, who had cut off countless tree roots, rushed directly to the bottom of the giant tree. With a pop, he inserted the cutting knife into the trunk of the giant tree monster. Then he dragged his sword and ran straight up. At this moment, Chu Wei was running up the wall outside a building. Wherever he ran, the chopper in his hand dragged a long crack behind him. This crack became longer and longer as Chu Wei continued to run upward. When Chu Wei ran to the top of the giant tree monster, the crack dragged by the chopper was already 1,000 meters long. It was in the center of the giant tree monster, directly pulling the giant tree monster from the bottom down. The one above is divided into two. Ah! I am not willing to give in. The giant tree monster roared hoarsely, and then its whole body collapsed like a building. Boom! He strode to the ground with a sound. Ding! The host kills the second-level boss and is rewarded with 3.5 million spiritual energy points. Reward 15 points of agility attribute. Rewards 10 strength attribute points. Rewards 10 physical attribute points. The main attribute value of the reward is 5 points. The reward is 20 points for clearing the game, and the host currently has a total of 40 points for clearing the game. The latest panel of the host is as follows. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shuxiang ZK. Chapter 145. Strength, 140 points, the attack power can be 14,000 Jin. Stamina, 120 points, can form defense against attacks below 12,000 Jin. Agility, 95 points, 48 attacks per second. Spirit, 10 points. Can clearly feel all movements within 10 meters. Wisdom, 15 points. Note, the host can consume wisdom points to obtain various professional knowledge, and can also use wisdom points to ask questions to the system. Aura value, 6 million/800 million. Current level 1 realm of the superpower. Main attribute points, 16 points. Only 16/100 are needed to upgrade the next version of the system. Host superpowers, red lightning, fire, dark water. Host physique, half dragon man. Host skills, aura finger gun, forbidden hand absorption. Host exclusive skills, arm of strength. Blue skin. Host equipment, chopping knife, steel and wood armor. Host consumables, chi and blood pill, fire phoenix blood pill, blood recovery pill, and one self-destruct rune. Host occupation, second level equipment refiner, first level array master. However, before Chu Wei had time to look at his latest panel, he saw a white light flashing on the giant tree monster that had just died, and then a piece of equipment fell to the ground. Chu Wei's eyes moved, and he immediately walked over. Picking up the equipment and taking a look, the system in Chu Wei's mind immediately gave the information of the equipment. Second level equipment, 1000 vine wings, transformed from the roots of the giant tree after death, the wearer can fly freely in the air, and the wings can also turn into thousands of roots to attack the enemy. Can fly. Chu Wei's eyes lit up. In this era, in addition to the Great Awakeners who can transform into wings and fly, there are many other equipment that can help humans fly. However, Chu Wei couldn't help but feel happy when he got this kind of equipment for the first time. Chu Wei quickly took the equipment and just put it on. A pair of wings immediately appeared on Chu Wei's back. These wings are made of tree roots, just like a tree net. Can it fly? Chu Wei was a little confused. These wings looked a little unreliable and a little ugly. However, Chu Wei still ordered to control the wings in his mind to see if he could fly. Puff! Puff! The wings flapped a few times, and then really took Chu Wei up. Oh my God, although it doesn't look good, it really can fly. Chu Wei was smiling. He was flying in the air at the moment, looking at the corpse of the giant tree on the ground. It was completely different to see things in the air and on the ground. When he was looking at the corpse of the giant tree on the ground, Chu Wei could only see one side. But in the air, Chu Wei could see the whole corpse of the giant tree, which was a kind of broad vision. No wonder everyone says that standing high, seeing far, this is absolutely true. Chu Wei flew in the air for a while before falling from the air. After falling, the wings shrank and retracted into Chu Wei's body, turning into a tattoo-like mark on Chu Wei's back. In the future, as long as Chu Wei's consciousness moves, he can immediately summon these wings. Ding! The system detects that the host has entered the 9-story extreme tower for 2 hours, and the host will return to the real world immediately. Oh my God, time flies so fast. Without talking to Chu Wei at all, the system directly brought Chu Wei's consciousness out of the 9-story extreme tower and returned to the real world. Huh. In reality, Chu Wei opened his eyes and stood up from the cross-legged sitting position. Chu Wei took a few steps forward and came to the window of the room. He lived on the 20th floor of the hotel. When he looked out of the window, it was as if he was in the air. Looking at the brightly lit night sky of the city outside, Chu Wei said, I believe that in a short time, even without the 1000 vine wings, I can fly in the air. Isn't it the realm of the Great Awakener? It won't be long before I, Chu Wei, will enter this realm. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiangzike. Chapter 146. Affected by today's Cheeto wings, Chu Wei really wanted to practice to the realm of the Great Awakener. At that realm, superpowers can be transformed into shapes, let alone wings. Even if it turns into a cannon. Of course, there is another reason why Chu Wei wants to enter the realm of the Great Awakener. This reason is that Kintu's wings are too ugly, just like a bunch of tree roots. When my powers take form, I will definitely transform into super handsome wings. Chu Wei chuckled. The next day, while Chu Wei was still sleeping, he heard someone ringing his doorbell outside. Who? Chu Wei walked to the door with hazy eyes. The door opened, and standing outside was Mo Kongxiu, the high cold class girl. Mo Kongxiu was looking at Chu Wei with a red face. Chu Wei was stunned. Could it be that he had flowers on his body? However, after taking a look, Chu Wei was embarrassed. He found that he was only wearing a pair of trousers. Chu Wei used to live in the boys' dormitory, so he basically wore a pair of pants when sleeping, and sometimes he would open the door like this when his roommates came back and knocked on the door. Sorry, please wait for me. Chu Wei immediately walked back and quickly looked for pants and clothes. Although Mo Kongxiu's face was red at the door, her eyes drifted towards Chu Wei's room from time to time. Just now, Chu Wei's figure could be said to be completely displayed in front of Mo Kongxiu. The well-defined chest muscles, biceps, and 8 abdominal muscles are also obvious. The muscles on Chu Wei's body are not the kind of exaggerated lumps, but the kind of muscles with lines. This guy has a pretty good figure. Mo Kongxiu whispered to herself. After a while, Chu Wei got dressed and walked over. As soon as they met, the two people looked at each other, and there was immediately some embarrassment in the air. Chu Wei quickly looked away and looked at Mo Kongxiu's clothes. Today Mo Kongxiu was wearing black clothes. With the support of the black clothes, her skin looked even more white. The lower body is a pair of white shorts, which generously shows off the slender and beautiful long legs. Black and white, only a cold personality like Mo Kongxiu would choose this combination. While Chu Wei was observing, Mo Kongxiu said hurriedly, "Hurry up and follow me, something happened to your roommate Tang Qiao." "What's up?" "Talking as we walk." The two of them took the elevator together and headed outside. On the way, Mo Kongxiu explained in detail the reason for looking for Chu Wei early in the morning. It turned out that when Mo Kongxiu went out in the morning, she happened to see Tang Qiao being bullied by a group of people. Mo Kongxiu said that Tang Qiao was being beaten by a group of young people at that time, and his face was covered with blood. "How far is it?" Chu Wei asked coldly on the street. He could feel that those who came to trouble Tang Qiao today must be the group of young men he beat up yesterday. "It's right in front, look, that's it." Mo Kongxiu pointed to Fangzi in the park, where she saw it while walking this morning. Chu Wei looked forward and saw a large group of people surrounding it. Among them, there was a voice shouting loudly, "You, soup dumplings. If you haven't seen me for a whole night, your bones will become hard already. Let me tell you, if you don't kneel down and kowtow to me today to admit your mistake, and then call the country bumpkin who was with you yesterday, I will break your legs today. Let you lie on the ground for the rest of your life. Live like a dog." Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shuxiang ZK. Chapter 147. When Chu Wei heard this, he immediately recognized that this young man was the one who was beaten the worst by him yesterday. Later, he heard Tang Qiao say his name was Li Ziyi, and that his family was powerful in NATO City. "Bah! I'm going to kowtow to you. I'm afraid you'll forget the feeling of my shoes on your face yesterday." He dares to speak harshly, so I'll beat him until he kowtows. Bump! 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 There were sounds of punches and kicks coming from the center of the crowd. At the same time, someone in the crowd of onlookers said, "This guy named Tang Qiao is really brave. He refused to accept the beating after being beaten like this. That's it, just kowtow, it's better than being beaten like a dog, right? You two are spineless, but I admire this Tang Qiao. As a man, that's what you should do. No matter how badly you're beaten, you can't kneel down and beg for mercy." Chu Wei's eyes turned cold, his steps moved, and he immediately rushed over. As soon as he came to the crowd, the sound of beating people in the crowd stopped. At the same time, Li Ziyi's voice sounded again, "Tang Nongbao, I will give you one last chance. Call the bumpkin from yesterday. I can ask you to wait for a while. Stop kowtowing." "Yesterday's bumpkin? What's going on?" someone in the crowd asked a companion next to him in a low voice. The companion replied in a low voice, "Don't you know? Yesterday, someone beat up Li Ziyi for this Tang Nongbao. I heard that the person who called him was a student with level 9 spiritual energy in their school. His name was Chu Wei. I heard that he is very powerful. Although he is only in the 9th level of spiritual energy, he can defeat people in the level of superpowers." "Oh, so that's it? Then this Chu Wei seems to be quite powerful. No wonder this Li Ziyi called his cousin Fu Jun here today. It seems that he wants to get rid of the one named Chu Wei. Who says it's not the case? Fu Jun is a young genius with level 2 superpowers. It's okay that the guy named Chu Wei doesn't come this time. If he does come, he'll probably be the same as the soup dumpling. I'm afraid if he doesn't kowtow a few times, there's no going back. Haha. Let's just wait and watch the show. I wonder if the soup dumpling will call and betray the man named Chu Wei. Just when everyone was talking, Chu Wei heard Tang Chao say, "If you want me to betray Brother Chu, you have a good idea. If you have the ability, you can kill me." After hearing this, Chu Wei's heart moved. He didn't expect that Tang Chao was not very strong, but he was so loyal. Okay. 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 Li Ziyi in the center of the crowd was furious and said 3 good words in a row, "Then I will break your legs." Li Ziyi picked up a big stick and was about to hit Tang Chao on the leg. If it was really hit, Tang Chao's legs would be broken on the spot. At this moment, a figure squeezed through the crowd. Just as the stick was about to hit Tang Chao's leg, the figure kicked out and hit Li Ziyi in the abdomen. This kick was so powerful that it sent Li Ziyi flying more than 10 meters away like a dog. He lay on the ground holding his stomach, unable to get up from the pain. The crowd of people around were all stunned. This sudden situation happened too suddenly. At that moment, all eyes were looking at the center of the crowd. It was Li Ziyi who was kicked away by someone just now. In the center of the crowd, a handsome high school student aged 16 or 17 was seen lifting up Tang Chao, who was beaten and covered in blood. Tang Chao, whose face was covered with blood, turned around and found that the person holding him was Chu Wei. His face changed drastically and he said, "Brother Chu, please leave quickly." They called a master with level 2 superpowers to come over. Although Tang Chao knew that Chu Wei had killed Uncle Gong, who was a level 1 superpower, this time the other party called a master who was a level 2 superpower. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiang ZK. Chapter 148. And I heard that he is a genius. It is difficult to meet an opponent in the same realm. His real combat power can be compared with that of a person at the 3rd level of the supernatural realm. In Tang Chao's mind, Chu Wei is still at the 9th level of spiritual energy, so even if he is powerful, he has no chance of winning against the genius of the 2nd level of the supernatural realm. After all, the level difference is several small realms. Moreover, in the minds of people in Taiyuan City and the school, Chu Wei's most powerful skill is still refining weapons. After all, he is a 2nd level weapon refiner. As for Chu Wei's killing of Li Long, who is at the awakening realm, and Lin Qianyuan, who is at the 3rd level of the supernatural realm, only 2 people in Taiyuan City know about it. One is Yang Xiao, and the other is the principal Long Fang. The 2 of them have never told anyone else about this. This is because they don't want to cause unnecessary trouble. If people know that a person at the 9th level of spiritual energy actually killed a person at the awakening realm, it will probably cause an uproar in all nearby towns. At the same time, it might also attract the jealousy of some other clan leaders, and thus attack Chu Wei. You know, some clan leaders with geniuses in their clans just can't stand geniuses in other places. They think that other geniuses will threaten the geniuses of their own clans, so it is normal to send people to assassinate them. So Chu Wei's strength in the eyes of everyone is still the strength when he killed Gong Shu before, with the strength of level 9 spiritual energy, but with the combat power of killing the level 1 superpower. Chu Wei looked at Tang Chao and felt that Tang Chao was loyal again. He thought he was not the opponent of the level 2 superpower master, so he asked him to leave quickly. "Don't worry, he doesn't have that ability," Chu Wei said lightly. At the same time, a calm temperament aroused turmoil in the hearts of several young men who were fighting Tang Chao with Li Ziyi. This high school student is too calm. Doesn't he know that Fu Jun is here today? Although they didn't like Chu Wei's attitude in their hearts, they didn't dare to say it. After all, Chu Wei was better than them. If he suddenly took action, they would not be his opponent. They retreated step by step. They didn't stop until they were under a big tree a few dozen meters away. At this moment, they were surrounding a young man who was sitting on a rocking chair in the park, watching everything that had just happened in front of him like a hermit. This young man was Li Ziyi's cousin, Fu Jun. "Brother Chu, be careful. The one sitting on the rocking chair is called Fu Jun. He is a young man of the Fu family. He is very powerful, and the Fu family has the strongest backing in Taiyuan City. I'm afraid we can't afford to offend him." Chu Wei sneered, "There is no one in this world who can't be offended. It's only whether you dare to offend yourself." "There is nothing I dare not offend, Chu Wei." When Tang Chao heard this, he felt hot-blooded instantly, and said immediately, "Brother Chu, as long as you dare to offend me, I, Tang Chao, will sacrifice my life to accompany you. At most, I will die. Who am I afraid of? The Fu family is nothing." At this moment, Tang Chao is no longer the Tang Chao of the past. Influenced by Chu Wei, he has now completely changed. "Hey, did you hear that? These two people from Taiyuan City actually said that the Fu family is nothing." The crowd around was like a pot of boiling water. No one in the entire NATO city dared to say that when mentioning the Fu family, and this was said by a high school student from a small town like Taiyuan City. They really don't know their place. These two country bumpkins from a small town are so ignorant of the world. They really need to be taught a lesson. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiangzike. Chapter 149. Someone in the crowd yelled. After all, they were from NATO City. Seeing someone not taking the big family of NATO City seriously, they naturally disliked Chu Wei, an arrogant outsider. "That's right, who do you think you are? Didn't you just defeat a superpower in a small place? Do you think this is Taiyuan City? I'm afraid he doesn't know how many people like him there are in Taiyuan City. You can't blame him too much. He's a country bumpkin who has never seen the world. Of course, he thinks that he is very amazing to be able to defeat superpowers at the level of 9 spiritual energy. He thinks he is invincible." At this moment, Mo Kongxiu also squeezed into the crowd. She came to Chu Wei and took a look at Tang Chao. Tang Chao's face was covered with blood and he was beaten a little badly. "Help me keep an eye on him," Chu Wei said to Mo Kongxiu. Mo Kongxiu nodded and stretched out her hand to support Tang Chao. In this way, Chu Wei had a free hand. Chu Wei looked at the young man Fu Jun who was still sitting on the rocking chair opposite him. A hint of disdain flashed across Chu Wei's mouth. He was at the level 2 of a superpower. If he slapped Fu Jun twice, he might cry. After looking at Fu Jun, Chu Wei glanced at the crowd around him, with even more disdain in his eyes. Although this group of people were talking big, in fact, their strength was not even at the level of superpowers. Chu Wei glanced around and said to everyone around him lightly, "I just looked at everyone present, and I came to a small conclusion." "What conclusion?" asked the crowd around him. "What conclusion can a high school student have? I guess he is afraid." "Ha ha. That's right, he knows he has caused trouble." "Ha ha." Chu Wei shook his head and laughed, and said, "My conclusion is that everyone here is rubbish, including the 2B sitting on the rocking chair opposite, pretending to be cool, I want to vomit." Chu Wei pointed at Fu Jun opposite him with one hand. At this moment, his attitude was as arrogant as he could be. The crowd around was all stunned, even Fu Jun, who had been sitting on the chair, had a sudden change of expression. He stood up. He originally thought that if the other party knew his name, he would come to admit his mistake. After all, in the past, if the people in those small towns knew that the person they offended was from Fu Jun's Fu family, they would kneel down and kowtow to admit their mistakes. This was the first time he had met someone who dared to point his nose at him and scold him, and the other party was just a high school student. Fu Jun walked over, followed by a group of young people and Li Ziyi, who was supported by someone. "Country bumpkin, I have to say you are really brave." Fu Jun stopped a few meters away from Chu Wei and said coldly. "Master Fu, beat this country bumpkin," someone shouted around. "Yes, Master Fu, beat him so hard that even his mother doesn't recognize him. Let him recognize his identity as a country bumpkin. He dared to be so arrogant in the city. Beat him. It won't take Master Fu a few minutes to deal with this country bumpkin." Someone looked disdainful, as if he had seen the ending. Listening to the shouts around him, Fu Jun was very pleased. He smiled smugly and said, "Country bumpkin, I'm here to tell you today that being arrogant requires strength." However, before Fu Jun finished speaking, Chu Wei on the opposite side had already punched him in the abdomen, ending Fu Jun's words directly. Fu Jun felt that this punch almost made him feel like his gallbladder was knocked out. This force was too great, definitely far beyond his own strength. And the opponent's speed was too fast. Just now, he only felt that the opponent had come to him in a flash. When he attacked, he was so fast that he couldn't react at all. How is it possible? Fu Jun roared in his heart. Super God system becomes infinitely stronger. Author, Shu Xiangzike. Chapter 150. At the same time, a burst of blue flames ignited on his body. This was his superpower, ice flame, a kind of flame with extremely low temperature. It is difficult for the wounds of people burned by this kind of flame to heal. It is precisely because of this power that Fu Jun has the trump card to challenge the level 3 level of superpowers. "Get out of my way!" Fu Jun roared angrily. The blue flames on his body swelled, and he wanted to use his superpower to force Chu Wei away. "Get down here!" Chu Wei shouted coldly, his fists lit up with flames and red lightning at the same time, and he punched Fu Jun hard on the shoulder. It's just a matter of trying to compete with the opponent's abilities. Although the opponent's blue flames are more powerful than his own, the combination of his red lightning and flame abilities is enough to defeat him. With a cry of "Get down!" Fu Jun was punched by Chu Wei and fell to the ground. When Fu Jun landed, the blue flames on his body stained the turf on the ground. The turf withered in an instant, as if its vitality was burned by flames, but unlike those burned by ordinary flames, these turfs did not turn into ashes. It's still the same as before, but the green color has turned into gray and has lost its vitality. This blue flame power is very strange. It was just completely suppressed by Chu Wei's two abilities. Strength, right? I'll let you know now how much trash you are in front of me. Chu Wei looked at Fu Jun lying in front of him and said coldly. "Lift your feet at the same time and then lower them a few times." Chu Wei's feet were surrounded by flames and red lightning, which were used to suppress the opponent's abilities. Touch! 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 Chu Wei kicked one kick after another. Sometimes they step on each other's stomach. Sometimes they step on each other's heads. It was really just a beating. The crowd around him was stunned and forgot to speak for a moment. "You know how rubbish you are." Chu Wei kicked him hard again. After this kick, Chu Wei was finished. He raised his head and looked at the group of young men opposite Li Ziyi. Some of these young men had been beaten by him yesterday and still had injuries on their faces. Some are newly added today. "Tang Qiao, come here. Look at which of these people have done something to you. Those who have done something to you today, don't even think about going back." When Tang Qiao heard this, he immediately walked over. What happened just now shocked him so much. He really didn't expect Chu Wei to be so strong. He had underestimated him before. No, it's not that I underestimated Brother Chu, it's that Brother Chu's operations were completely inhumane. It's God. But he quickly reacted, came to Chu Wei's side, pointed at a group of young people opposite and said, "They all started." Did anyone take action? Chu Wei looked coldly at the group of young people opposite. Then he said coldly, "Since you have already taken action, you can slap yourselves in the face now, and I will let you go after 100 slaps. Don't let me do it." Just as Chu Wei finished speaking, a young man on the opposite side stood up, pointed at Chu Wei and said, "You damn country bumpkin, who do you think you are? You actually let me beat myself up? You know you offended in NATO City." Bang, before he could finish his words, Chu Wei had already slapped him in the face. The young man's body was directly hit and rotated 10-20 degrees 3 times in the air. When he landed, he spit out a mouthful of blood and a lot of big white teeth, and he fainted. Who else wants me to do something? When many young people saw it, they all felt that it was a good man not to suffer the consequences, so they started to slap themselves in the face with pot, pot, pot. Tang Chao looked at the scene and smiled, "Brother Chu, being with you is a pleasure. Even if you are beaten to death, it is worth it."